Yeah, I mean, well, let's get into it. Back with Aaron Barker. This is the 3rd episode. So, when he was first on, did we break that into 2 episodes, or was that just 1?
I can't remember. It might have been 2.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is like your 3rd or 4th episode. So, after no introduction at this point.
Oh, it's quite an honor.
No introduction. But when we started in January of 24, so 2.5 years ago, I think that's the date that I said I had my first session. 23.
It's been
3.5 years.
Flies.
The only time I ever heard of AI was like Joe Rogan talking about it. Like, it wasn't on our phones. It was a concept of supercomputers coming that are going to
kill us all.
Yes. And look, I am a big fan of the movie I, Robot. I remember watching that, and Minority Report.
Oh, man.
So,
I was just
the concept was there.
Around a screen, like
the concepts were there, but then it was like, when did it become real? And then, I think that maybe 1.5 years ago was probably when I started using it. But like you mentioned, it's more of just like a glorified Google, and then, me and my wife just went to Charlotte, North Carolina on a weekend getaway, and I didn't use Google one time. I used ChatGPT for everything. Yeah. Right. But then I think that what I wasn't expecting, I knew that it would be a lot of information. It would source information faster, fingertips. Then probably, 7 or 8 months ago, I started using it to create for me. And that's, to me, is the big thing. Right. And so like even our church is doing like a little audio-visual or AV camp for all the nerdy kids that want to do sound and video stuff at the church, and I'm on the sound team, and so then the guy that's heading it up, he's like, "Hey, what are we going to teach? What are we going to teach?" And I just said, "Well, give me a list of the equipment." And so in software, and I put it in Claude. And within 2 minutes, I have a PDF of all the training material, all the sessions, a printable notebook for each one of the kids to take notes and to do. It was just all done. And he's like, "Hey, thanks, man. That saved me a lot of time." I'm like, "Yeah, but you can do it too. We can all do it." And I think that's where the creation of things, to me, is what I'm using it for the most, and it's been the best time saver for me. Is not coming up with the thoughts for me, but just actually creating the tools. And so how are y'all utilizing it? And let me also say this, is that our weekly meetings, now my team is having to report to me on how they're implementing AI in their task each week.
Dude, that's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible.
Yes.
Personally, the other day, I had a project that would have taken me and my skill set a long, long, long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I got it done in like 4 hours because I was just popping that thing. Like, hey, write the code. And it did it because I can't write the code. I mean, I would have to like type, all this this stuff out.
Do you type like that?
Well, I type a little faster, but I'm not a coder.
Central didn't have a great
We did have a good Mavis Beacon typing. Hello. Had a great typing course.
Would you say Mavis Beacon?
Mavis Beacon.
She definitely grew up with computers.
No, that was the program. It's called Mavis Beacon Typing.
Oh. You thought it was the name of the lady. Oh, Mavis.
No way.
She's old.
No, that was Miss Murphy.
She's been teaching.
Show some respect to Miss Murphy.
Sorry. She really didn't teach. Miss Murphy didn't.
No, we just went on the Mavis Beacon and it taught us. But to the point.
Miss Baby, she's a great teacher.
And there's so many things you can do with AI, and that's why it's probably so scary. Is that if I go to it and say, "Hey, I'm kind of feeling this way. How should I be feeling?" And it's like, "Have you considered?" And Josh, you're so great at blah blah blah. And it's it can be really sycophantic in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But as far as like speed and reducing just things that take you time that could go way faster. Excel, I dropped an Excel file in yesterday and I said, hey, I need these 2 columns added.
Yes.
Because I don't want to mess with the formula and copy it and paste it. Just you do it.
Yes. It happens all the time. Yeah. I've done that, merging documents.
Yeah.
Hey, here are 3 different documents. I need them on one document, or make it make sense.
Right.
On one document.
Oh, totally.
It's great.
Super fast.
Yeah. What's your platform of choice?
Well, I do have Claude on my phone, but I've used GPT longer, so it knows me a little better.
Samesies.
Yeah.
Now, on the business side, we're using Plod.
Plod?
Plod.
With a P.
Yep.
With a P.
Yes. And so Plod is really designed for businesses. So we record every meeting with Plod.
Okay.
And it stores, and now, after 6 months, a year worth of meetings, it knows our organization, and we can say, hey, this job's open. Who would be best for this on our team, or who would be? And so it's.
How do you spell Plod?
Same thing with C, just with Claude, just with the P.
Plaude. Plod.
But it has a little recording device that syncs to your phone or computer. But I know that we're using that you can use that in interviews. You can literally, you don't have to tell them you're recording it, or you can if you want.
Wait, you don't have to tell them they're being recorded?
But you can.
Is that? You may want to check on that. I think if you record anybody, you got to let them know, right?
I don't know.
Like if you sat down in front of me in an interview, it's like, hey, I'm just going to record this with my phone. Or if you're firing,
this is being recorded.
You're firing.
I was unsure.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, we're recording this.
If you're going to fire somebody, you're just going to like hit record and like slide this up under the desk. I don't think you could do that.
Well, I think for like someone calls, somebody wants to have the conversation about a raise, right? You record it. Plod will give you advice on what to do next, right? You can do an interview. Hey, based off of the interview you just recorded, would that be good for this job description we have here? What are the pain points? We're going to make them an offer. What should we focus on our offer for a compensation structure for this person? And it's creating all that for you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty...
well, it'd be worthwhile to distinguish the 2 separate conversations here. One is the morals and ethics.
Should you tell them they're being recorded?
There's many, shoulds here, but we don't like shoulding on ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great idea for somebody else to listen to the interview and say, hey, based off what I've heard, this person would be a great hire. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. Or recap it. What are they, what concerns should we have hiring this person for this position based off how they answer these questions? I mean, it could go, you could go with Plod, since it's storing all of our meetings. We could go to it and say, hey, what's a concept we talked about in the past year that we have not tackled yet that we should get to? What would be the best if we're going to pick 3 big things we've talked about in the past year, or which ones should we tackle first? Like just things like that. Yeah. And it's, my job, I feel like I'm not utilizing my time correctly as the owner of this company based off of our conversations and what you know about us. What should I be focusing on in the next quarter? Right. And it's pretty crazy stuff.
Totally. One of the things that I can tie into this idea of just internal growth and development and understanding what coaching is, but also how we can leverage and utilize AI. There's this concept of judgment or judgment calls or judgment words. And this is what's fascinating. If you've talked to somebody and you've realized, we're using the same words, but we mean 2 totally different things. An example of this is if you were to say the word plan, like, hey, I'm going to come up with a plan. And let's say I say to Leighton, hey, come up with a plan. Or you say to your team member, come up with a plan for how we're going to hire this guy, onboard him, and get in that department to turn a profit, and come up with a plan. And what they come to you is something totally different than what someone else might come to you with, because their interpretation or their idea of what a plan is totally different. And so when you ask the question, hey, what is a plan to you? Oftentimes we don't ask these questions like, what is a plan? Because they assume you know what a plan is.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you think a plan is. So when you ask, what is a plan, or what is a plan to you, it gives that definition. When it comes specifically to how we utilize AI, we can tell it, this is what a plan is. So if you say, hey, build me a plan for whatever, it's going to, because it's an LLM, large language model, Claude and ChatGPT, and I think Grok is an LLM, it's going to aggregate, I think might be the best word. I'm not really like technically proficient in this concept here, but pretty much it's just going to utilize the average. of what everybody thinks a plan is. It's like if you said to ChatGPT, make me a picture of a guy next to a lake. It would make you what it thinks you want to see based on the average of what most people think a guy by a lake is. And so it's going to do the same thing with all of the concepts that would be considered these like judgment words or stuff that just has a different interpretation to it. Mm-hmm. It's going to use the average. So it's like if you stood up on stage to a bunch of like 50,000 people and asked a question, you'd get the
consensus.
The consensus of that group. Mm-hmm. The smaller you make the group, the higher value or more targeted that definition or that answer is going to be. That's how we can treat AI. That's why there's actually so many classes and so much in prompt writing.
Well, and that's why, you ask the question or give the prompt and then an hour later give the same prompt and you get a different answer. Mm-hmm. Just because that knowledge base has grown since then, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
One of the things that we've started to do now, instead of prompts with Claude, we just record a conversation and then have it create. So like we needed an updated flow chart. Mm-hmm. So me and Hannah turned on Claude and we talked for 5 minutes about our whole organization, people's names, job titles, what they do, all that. Mm-hmm. Hit stop. It was a 5-minute conversation. And we said, now create us a flow chart.
Boom.
And it was done. Perfect flow chart.
Yep. You mean org chart?
Yeah, like org chart,
okay.
flow chart.
Okay.
Yeah, just like a kind of
org flow.
Org flow.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it was great.
He was making a plan.
Definition of a word. Just different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, now I know. Because you could have been talking about a flow chart.
Oh, no, process. Sure. Yeah. But you could do that too.
Yeah.
Hey, here's our current process. Mm-hmm. What can we do to make it better? Mm-hmm. You talk to that employee about their process for doing something. Mm-hmm. How can we become more efficient? Create a detailed flow chart. Boom. Goes in the binder.
Boom.
Done. Remember the process binders?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I mean, how easy is that to create now? This episode is sponsored by Clint Davis Counseling, helping people make lasting internal change for external growth and success. They provide professional counseling, education, and resources to the community of Shreveport, Bossier City. They have 3 locations, one in Shreveport, one in Bossier, and one in Benton. So go to clintdaviscounseling.com or give them a call, 318-562-6903.
When you asked me like, hey, what kind of topics? I just went last night to Claude. And I was like, make me a list of them.
Here's some topics I want to talk about.
I love it.
So what is the AI in you? What are you doing with the AI?
What is it in you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you wanted to talk about AI. Why did you want to talk about AI?
I thought you were going to get real esoteric.
Has it?
The title.
Does it become you?
I like calling it robots. That's my funny terminology around the house. As I say, I'm playing with robots.
Yeah.
So leave me alone. Yeah. I have really leveraged in a lot of the same concept of what Leighton's talking about in Create and stuff. Whenever you have a transcript or a bunch of dialogue that's taken place, you can have that loaded into AI, but have it construct and create specific types of things. So it I've been having it do my recap when I do recap stuff for people. It does that. And one of the things that's, so interesting about this day and age of information is that there's so much information. And so what I've noticed throughout the years of using AI is that when people will go to it and say, hey, create a plan for this, or make me that, or hey, I want to have this understanding of how things work, so make a flow chart or whatever, it's going to pull a ton of information and it's going to use its own understanding of what you might want to see and how that might want to look for you. So an organizational chart, it will map out exactly what you say. And one of the things that I've started thinking through, because I think of them like 5 personas. Okay. Think of like or hats that you wear is a fine way to understand this idea of a persona. It's like you're an entrepreneur. You're also a business owner. You're also a leader. There's some element of sales component to what you do. Rainmaker. Dancer. Musician. Right. Comedian. Timekeeper. Chauffeur. There's personas that I've found myself just interacting with through the years, and they've accumulated into 5, and it's sales, leadership, entrepreneurship, ownership, and faith and family. And so when I think about that's pretty much identifies me. It identifies who I associate with. And they pretty much all 5 of those, there's a lot of similarities in that we just want to know what works. What works? What's going to pick up momentum, traction? What's going to move me? They're very highly driven personas, and the people that operate within those personas are really trying to leverage each one of the technical things that can help them just move towards where they want to go, both internally in their personal growth and externally. So I've started to realize, how can I leverage this, but actually, because there's so much information, actually limit the information. So it really is not having access to that much. It's only having access to that which would be productive in moving those 5 personas towards the goal, towards their individual and understanding of what would be the pursuit. So in the example of like a flow chart or an organizational chart, we've got access to a lot of understandings of what an ideal flow and organizational chart would look like.
Yep.
Specifically as it relates to your industry, your company, the region, the revenue, what you're aiming at. So if you think about some, you could understand the idea of the E-Myth and how it has the 7 steps of the turnkey franchisable model. The E-Myth starts off with the primary aim, strategic objective, and then organizational structure. Those are the first 3 of the 7. But if you just think about those in conjunction with one another and how they relate and build on to the next, when you start with the primary aim and you say which strategic objectives are, when they get accomplished, going to basically prove that we are on the path towards that primary aim, there is an organizational structure ideal to a company that's trying to achieve that primary aim. So it's going to have an actual look. So you could say, hey, map this out and just tell me what we have.
Sure.
Yes. And then when you can get the ability to juxtapose that up against what we could have.
Yeah. That's why I always, anytime it creates something, I always finish, once they create it, off my prompts, I say, now, based off your knowledge, what am I missing?
Yeah. And that's so your question about AI to me, man, that is where I'm getting so fired up, because based on your knowledge, that's where, because I've been having the ability to dialogue and just work with so many people in those 5 personas, there is an ability to know, to have a knowledge.
Yeah. And it always gives me great. I say, hey, what am I missing here? They say, well, based off of what I know, other companies like yours would be doing this, and it's not on what you're doing.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, I never thought of it that way.
Totally.
Right. And so, and not saying I'm going to change it, but at least it gives you a sounding board. So you're not having to say, well, I'm going to go into another market and see what other people are doing that are ahead of me.
Yeah.
Now we know. So
that's right.
Yeah, it's great.
So that's the AI to me. It's, understanding what I've been able to be a part of and what that's given me the ability to have as far as like a knowledge base, or what you can offer to those specific 5 personas that you're able to engage with, and then offering, hey, based on what I've seen and what I know and I'm able to show you, this is some gaps.
So have y'all seen the graduation, the commencement speeches? You seen this montage? Well, all of these leaders now are doing, graduation just happened at all these colleges. And so the Google people, all these innovators and all this are giving commencement speeches, and all of them are mentioning the revolutionary AI progress that's being made. And the montage is showing all the boos.
All the boos?
Yeah. Everybody's booing them. All the college students are booing the speakers.
It's just a montage
that are talking about, hey, the Industrial Revolution. This is our Industrial Revolution, or the computer, then the cell phone, now the AI, and everybody starts booing.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
And so it's funny because I'm living with a 17-year-old and he will not use AI for anything.
Interesting.
In fact, he says, Dad, quit using it. You're making yourself dumber.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is that is the
fear.
Yeah. Well, you also think this, we're secure in our workforce. We have security. We know what we're doing with our lives and our income. And I'm not threatened by AI because I own my businesses. We all 3 own our businesses. But you think of somebody who's just getting out of college, who has $100,000 worth of debt. And I've literally just hired 2 college graduates for not a lot of money because there's nothing out there, and my positions weren't first choice. I told them, hey, keep looking, see if you can make what you want to make. But I have something if you need something. And then last minute, they're like, okay, I need something. I've been looking for months. There's nothing in my field, right? So that is the perception or this movement. So I don't know where that ends. I don't know if there is regulation that's going to come down, but it's crazy to think through. And, I don't think that you can, I think you can take it to any extreme, but I do think that there are pros and cons to every big changes, and they're worth discussing.
Yep.
What are your feelings on the downside of it?
Me personally?
Yeah.
That it becomes like what the promise of the internet was. Right now, there are people who are saying that we're going to have unlimited
money,
good
income,
and money, and it's just going to be like we're going to make all this money and just sit at home.
It's the people, yes.
And I think that if you look at any kind of technological innovation across time, what happens is the lion's share of the resource gets aggregated to like a very, very centralized kind of structure. And so like if you think about the internet, which used to be the Wild Wild West and everybody was just doing crazy stuff. And then over time, it just becomes more and more owned by larger and larger corporations, i.e. Googles and, all these people. That as that centralization occurs, that's a resource issue. And, the people that have the dominant resources, and we know the FANG stocks are just blowing up, and they have been blowing up. It's like, what's going to stop them now? Nothing. They've got more cash than, sovereign states. So the problem is going to be, honestly, it's just going to all be porn and ads, because that's what I feel like the internet has just become. It was this promise of, hey, we're going to be so connected to each other. We're going to be so connected.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on Facebook and I'm going to see pictures of my friends. And instead I've got like twerkers and, just ads for socks.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is what it was this, but now it's this. And so my fear about AI is that it's just going to become utilized by people who are ultimately going to squeeze every penny out of it. And how are they going to do that? Well, they're going to do that through ad tech. Yeah. It's like the smartest minds of our generation.
Yeah.
They didn't go to like create the space rover. They went into ad tech.
Yeah.
And is that good for us? That Einstein is right now working on an algorithm for an ad.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Ivy's Building Materials with 3 locations in Halton, Blanchard, and Mansfield. We are your locally owned home center. We have hardware, building materials, anything you need to build a house, to fix a toilet, to paint a room. Come see us at Ivy's Building Materials and see the service that we are known for. ivylumber.com.
Well, I think that what it is this idea, and it was with the internet as well, of you just have to accept it. You can't have any pushback. It's like, it's coming. You accept it.
Yeah.
But there is no room for the dialogue of the social implications of it. Right. And in some instances, there was no foreseeing that. You couldn't see.
No.
Yes, it was cool to connect each other.
It was great to see pictures
of your someone across the world.
It was amazing.
I could email all these things, and nobody could predict. Is like, well, you're going to be. The more connected you get, the more isolated you're actually going to become. Right. So that's why we live in the most isolated culture, even though we're the most connected.
Yeah.
We have the most anxiety.
Yeah.
Because of this connectedness. Now we're not just worried about our circle and our neighborhood's opinion of us.
Yeah.
We're 7 billion people.
We're not made to worry about that much.
No, we're not.
That's exactly right.
But there's no predicting.
Exactly right.
And so then the question is, does this just put a magnifying glass on all of that already? And maybe it does.
Yeah, maybe it does.
But I do think that just the idea of, well, just accept it and fall in line. You just got to deal with it because it's coming. Then that's where people start pushing back. It's like, hey,
Yeah. I mean, certain of us aren't really that fond of just being told to accept stuff.
Yes,
we tend to push back. I agree. There's a comedian I was listening to he did AGT. I think it was Josh. So Josh Blue, he did his joke because he has cerebral palsy. His joke about Botox, that it was created for certain diseases. And I think that's one of them. But they use it to make your face look small. to take the fat off your face and make you look prettier. And that's what it's used for, because that's what makes the money. It's like, here's this wonderful technology of medicine, but they use it for
vanity.
Yeah.
And I think the blade cuts both ways. I mean, I think the technology has. I mean, my hope for AI is that we make meaningful progress in cancer. Like we make meaningful progress in quality of life over duration. I don't know how long we can live, but at the end of the day, a lot of people die of cancer. Like it's a real deal. Yeah. And what kind of economic, it's not just all about GDP, but think about the effect of GDP that cancer causes. Like that's serious. Yeah. I mean, people dying at 50 years old. That's a real thing.
Well, and part of the thing that you can do internally when you're thinking about this idea of AI and you're being told, hey, just have to accept it, or you're understanding, hey, it really is coming, and you can ask yourself, what side do I want to be on? Because the truth is, no matter what you look at through history, any technology, and my dad was having this conversation with him, and so I had to equate it to what his technological advancement was, like the
newspaper.
Chisel. I was like, Dad, when the chisel came out, you guys, was the T9, T89, whatever it is, calculator. I don't even know. Yeah. But you got to pick what side, and you can use a lot of that to, research cancer. And, my son got diagnosed with Crohn's disease when he was 18 months old, and he saw symptoms at 6 months. And I would hope that a lot of the things we use are going to be going to figuring out finally a cure for that, which they've been searching forever for. But, is it going to be used for the other two words you said? Yeah, totally. Which side do you want to be fighting for? And that's really where, from a macro, like big picture type of thing, that I found myself being willing to pick and start understanding how it could be a part of my personal purpose. In that this, you asked your question, what is AI to me? When you think about that idea of consolidating the information so that can be useful, is I want to really, really hone in on the idea of biblical truth. Because for those 5 personas and the people that we interact with every day, we all want to know as entrepreneurs, we all want to know, is this going to work? And the truth is, there is something that tells us what works and what doesn't. And it was spoken by a man a long time ago. And he really is the smartest man to ever live, because through him the world was created and he will inherit the world. And through his power, he upholds it with the word of his power. And those words, they have truth and meaning. And they're beyond just who do you believe in and what's your faith. They literally have to do with the actual components of the way that the world works and is created. Just the way the soil has system and it works a certain way, so does the ecosystem of our world that we live in here and now. And so when you understand what works, and we ask ourselves, how do we utilize AI to help us be productive, actually start doing stuff productive. That's what I'm really getting fascinated about, is how can it really hone in on helping me and the people I am around understand what is biblical truth that has to do with this. So you can, you can be on any side of it. You can be on the apps.
Well, I say that this is the concern and that we're just kind of forced to deal with it. But when we think of being business owners, and apply this just to business ownership, spiritual opinions aside, you do have to adopt it, or you are going to get left behind.
That is,
think of the companies that did not embrace Google. Right. I mean, and then when you think of Google and what's happened over the past 20 years, and they're still evolving, it really, even the internet, there's this old recording of Steve Jobs, like in the 80s, talking about the internet and what it will do for a business. And it was kind of like this idea of it's leveling the playing field.
Equalizer.
Now it's an equalizer, and it came to be true, and Google is too, right? I mean, there is something to be said for years in business and your 5-star ratings, but you can instantly have a presence on the internet, right? And I think with AI is you don't have to go spend 20 years and figure things out. You can learn at a much more rapid pace, right? And so it is going to even more equalize the entrepreneur, the startup person, to be able to compete with the person that's been around for 40 years. And that's crazy. It's exciting on one sense, but then at the same time, as an established business, I still tell my people, hey, remember, we're in startup mode. I'll never get out of startup mode. But someone who's been around since 1969,
you're that old, Josh?
But there are people coming after us. I mean, there are people that are going to be much smarter with the technology, much more driven, that are getting in our industry, and they're coming after us, right? And so it's
happening.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it is equalizing.
I like it. So what? So as far as it seems like you guys aren't you're using AI, but like as a company, we're not pushing the envelope there.
In small places, but it's not like hey, everybody come to the AI water fountain.
Yeah.
And
what I find a lot is, it is a lot individual, and it really, to me, it's really in the processes. And so if someone comes to me and they're saying, hey, I've been working on this for 2 hours, I'm like, well, that just cost me $50.
Yeah. What have you been doing?
Yeah. That's 2 months worth of Claude subscription.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, let's do it this way. Right. So we have a lady who's somewhat new, great employee, great leader. She's going to be awesome for our organization. She's in a new industry, and she's having to articulate to our clients something she has nothing about. Right. And so she's making the vendors give her an explanation to explain this to our clients. And I'm like, hey, if you just take this and say, hey, explain this. I need to explain this to someone that knows nothing about this, and I know nothing about this. What should I say?
Totally.
Literally. Yeah. You upload it and it'll say, here's the conversation. Boom. You call and you just do it. You send it in an email. And like, it's just not part of that. But she would be stressing out. She would probably miscommunicate. There would be a lot of things, right?
Oh yeah.
And we're bothering the vendor by going back to them and asking for an explanation. This episode is sponsored by Plumber for Hire, locally owned plumbing company specializing in residential and commercial plumbing. They've recently expanded into new construction plumbing, and also, they're very proud of starting their HVAC division. So when the temperature gets hot, if you need any servicing or work done on your heating and cooling system, make sure to call Plumber for Hire. There's no job too big or too small for them. You'll see their vans driving around town. Give them a wave. They really pride themselves in getting to every job within a day of the call coming in. So get in touch with them, 318-709-9090, or visit their website, plumberforhiresbc.com, or you can find them on social media.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting when you think about that limiting belief of AI and what it's going to do, and that it's going to make you dumber or whatever. It's going to make you lazy. Well, when you have that concept baked around in your mind and it's causing you not to actually engage in AI, it's really causing you just to not challenge yourself and ask yourself, what a part of this natural order of pruning and growth could I actually use to leverage myself into a position that I wasn't in before and start to operate where I'm using it? And I'm not spending 2 hours doing something, but I can actually start to do something newer, challenge myself to think differently, and elevate my own skills and mentality and my own mental capacity here. You use it to elevate yourself.
Go ahead.
I mean, I just think that I think that as a leader of an organization right now, if you're leading, you're a boss of 3 people or 300 people. I think that it should be, if I were in your position, I would be tasking each one of those employees to come back every week to me with one way they're implementing AI that they weren't doing before. And just make that a standing rule. You come and you say, hey, here's how I implemented this in a new way this week. And then I would have someone on the team that is auditing all of our processes and asking AI, how can we do this more efficiently? And how can we incorporate AI in this process? That's what I would do. And so that would be my two biggest, that's what we're doing in my businesses. And I think everyone should be doing that right now.
I want to go back to what you said about the limiting belief thing. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm kind of like, what? Why? Why bother? I think that one reason really jumps out. And what I'm looking for in this is like, what's the guardrail, right? And that's kind of like what you were talking about. And I think that you do have to have some kind of anchoring in this process, right? Because at the end of the day, this like, hey, I'm going to incorporate AI and I'm going to be, 1,000 times better at everything is, if it's not grounded properly, it can very much be an exercise in vanity and an exercise in worthless pursuit. So the grounding that I'm talking about is what is the chief aim? And if the chief aim is ultimately to glorify God, that puts me on an electric fence and I have to make a decision. So think about this. You're either going to have to say, glorify God through my personal growth and elevation and how I can become all these better things, and yet still hold tight to the ancient wisdom that has brought us this far. So that's the grounding, that's the guardrail. So I can't just stay who I am today, because if the chief aim is to glorify God, then I have to push myself into another level of growth and uncomfort and all these things. And I can use a tool like this to achieve those ends. But if I lose sight of the ancient wisdom, it's going to be a totally empty pursuit. Does that make sense?
What would be some ancient wisdom, or an example, one or two, that anchors you?
Well,
or us?
I'm going to just appeal to the Judeo-Christian set of ethics, right? Which is that all people are, created in the image of God and that everyone is worthy. I mean, amplification can go a lot of different paths, and I know I'm way out right now, but at the end of the day, you could see really horrible things come from this. If it's just about optimization culture, what are you going to optimize away from? And I'm not even going to point at it. I'm just going to say, hey, it's way over there in the corner and it's really scary. Okay. So if we're not adhering to some type of ancient ethic like that, we could get way, way, way off.
Yeah.
Well, and I would say this. So if you the golden rule, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor, right? I mean, your business provides a service to the community. Would you agree with that?
Of course.
Yep. And I would say that no matter what business we're in, customer service would be an anchor in all of our businesses, right? That we prize that. So for me, AI is a time thing. If this person comes to me and says, hey, I just spent 2 hours creating this, I said, well, we could create that in 2 minutes.
Sure.
Let's take that hour and 55 minutes and devote it to customer service. Yeah. Go call our customers and just check on them.
Yeah, or anything you just caught yourself saying, I don't have time for.
Yeah. And so to me, that's what it is. I don't think the question is I think the biggest question, the first question is, how are we implementing AI? The second question for your people is, now what are you doing with the time you just saved?
Yeah. I'm writing that question down. Yes. With the time that you saved, what are you now?
Yes. Then to me, that time has to be devoted to the things we cannot abdicate to AI, which is customer service, relationships, right? Cleaning the building, keeping up the grounds, making the first impression better. AI can't help us with our first impressions, right? So those are the things so if we can say, hey, we're going to implement AI and over 6 months, we're going to save 50% of our employees' times on the tasks they were doing. What are we now doing with that 50%?
Watch the stuff that people will use their time for.
Oh, we already said.
I know,
wine ads.
I deleted X off my phone last night. Some guy had this tweet. It came out and he said, hey, I like X, but if you're starting to feel like this is a prison, you have the key and you can get out.
There you go.
And I was like, you know what? You are right, random stranger giving me wisdom. Delete you, random stranger. It'll be back at lunch. But
yeah, dude, that, watching what people do with their time when they save it and asking yourself what reflection of that actually points to our inner growth and all the things we would kind of make excuses on and say, I don't have time for this or whatever. Well, you're very, very quickly and very bluntly put face to face with the truth when you have to account for the time that you are saving and decide what you're going to use it for. Because when it brings you back to stuff like customer service, then you have to face the reality, I avoid that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you don't have time for that. Personally. How many times have we had conflict because somebody's rushing to get off of a phone because there's so much stuff they have to get to, right? Yeah. Or they're distracted by another task, or they're
And watch the stuff that AI can't do, and watch how when you face it, you grow.
Yeah.
And so that ancient, Judeo-Christian ancient wisdom, that the stuff you got to anchor yourself to, like I think of things like walking humbly. I think of things like aligning your righteousness and allowing that righteousness not to be something you do in public so others can see it, but do it in secret where the Heavenly Father sees it and rewards it in secret. That word righteousness is actually dikiasune. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly or not, but it's designed to identify the alignment of thinking, feeling, and acting. It's actually a pretty big coaching principle, but I don't think they really knew that it was a biblical one.
It sounded like you said it right. You say it fast if you don't know how to pronounce it.
Exactly. Yeah. You just say it really.
Yeah.
But that's one of the anchors, and the thinking, feeling, and acting, that understanding of your righteousness. When you have to face this stuff, like, what would I do with my time? Well, it tells you what you're thinking and how that thinking is helping you. Because if you don't want to spend time, addressing the customer service because it's challenging, or having that confrontation because you say, I don't have time for that, or who's got time for that? Well, those things are going to force you to face some stuff that are actually going to attack some of those limiting beliefs, because it's going to get rid of all those excuses you've been hiding under.
Yeah.
Well, it could.
This episode is sponsored by Priority Roofing, locally owned, family-ran business specializing in residential and commercial roofing, repairs, replacements. No job is too small. They've helped thousands of homeowners in the Shreveport-Bossier area over the past several years. Call the office, 318-202-2123, or visit their website, PriorityRoofingLLC.com.
And to the point of, with the time that you save, what are you doing? I think, Leighton, the key for you and for us in business is, okay, you saved 30 minutes today. Mm-hmm. Now you've got to help people understand what the higher levered activity really is. Mm-hmm. Because, some get it, but many don't have the perspective that you have to say, hey, out of all these 100 things we could be doing, these are the things that matter the most.
Sure.
And how do we shed light on that? And how do we say, okay, you saved 30 minutes. Now here's the higher levered activity.
Yeah.
And I think that's where AI could truly help. Mm-hmm. But are we going to have the discipline to do it?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a category you can put in every job description and every role, right? And Brian Buffini always calls it the unexpected extras. Right? What's Ivy's going to do that Lowe's and Home Depot will never do?
Right.
Right. What are they going to do that's going to make a difference, move the needle? Mm-hmm. And so it's very powerful, to be able to take that. And I would even say when you just said, now our role is to help people understand how to use that time. I'm like, well, AI could help us how to use that time, right?
You just don't want to work, man.
Yeah, well, laziness
is
one of the biggest assets of an entrepreneur, is just say, how would I do this?
Yeah. So, but no, I think that's it. I think that the new world we live in, if that's how we want to say it, the creativity just shifts. Like, there's still creativity, and there's still ways as leaders to squeeze, just new ideas and stuff out of this new world with AI. It doesn't take that away. Yeah. It doesn't take away the creativity. It doesn't even take away the hard work. In fact, I would say doing the task on the to-do list is way easier than the higher level things we're talking about, and the emotional intelligence it takes, and the dealing with the emotions, and being kind and being humble. And I mean, that is not human nature. Right. It does take work.
It does.
So,
well, there's 4 steps to the emotional intelligence too, if you want to do that later. No, I'm just kidding.
4.
Is it 3 or 4?
3 or 4. 3 or 4. Well, the first one's just the title.
None of these.
Hey, if you want to sound smarter, you just make 4. Come up with your 3 points and then just make the title the 4th. An extra.
Yeah, totally. Hey, you want to give us a quick rundown of that? The EQ? Because I want to go somewhere with that.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So it's self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, social management. This is 4.
I like it. Self and social. So
awareness.
yourself and then the other people around you.
That's right.
I think if you're a youngin right now and you're like booing the AI, I think that you probably are best served to pick up that Dale Carnegie book.
Oh yeah.
And I think that you're probably best served to really learn EQ and how that relational quality and how, leadership is really forged. Doesn't matter the thing, right? Yeah. Like these things aren't going away.
Yeah.
I have a speech I would give to my kids, especially like if they were in the car and they heard me on a business phone call, or I had to step out and take a business phone call, to kind of not be upset or frustrated by it. I would go into the speech with them and just say, guys, if you never go to college, or if you go to college and you don't learn anything, people are your best asset to success. I mean, there's 100%.
Yes.
You have got to learn how to deal with people and to manage people and to work with them and to keep them motivated and all those things. If you can learn how to deal with people, you're never going to have a job problem. You're never going to worry about getting fired. You're never going to worry about needing a job. You'll be taken care of.
It'll be just fine.
Well, and there's an element to AI that I think amplifies humanity and makes what makes us human more important. I mean, we know because we've used it enough what AI slop is. I smell it. I see it.
Yeah.
I look at it. I go, that's slop. And so many people are repulsed by that. And I think that the human element is still what binds us together. And so what you're telling your kid that people are your biggest asset, that's 1,000% true. That's 1,000% true today. It's going to be 1,000% true in 100 years, unless everybody's just androids and we're all one hive, whatever. And that could happen, right? But ultimately, I think exactly what you're saying is that, the kids that are stressing out about this, it's like you kind of just got to rewind, go back to what's always been important, invest in that.
Yeah.
And if that means that you're going to be using technology in a new superior way as a rocket scientist, well, you still can use these skills and these tools and these, like the emotional intelligence and how to lead well and how, all these things that have mattered forever.
Yeah.
It's not going away.
No.
Well, and it is going to be fewer and fewer. And this generation, I think of my kids, my oldest son's about to be a senior in high school. He has to pursue the knowledge of dealing with people. We grew up with it, right? We had to answer the home phone line when it rang. We didn't know who was over there.
Did you get coached, by the way, from your dad on how to answer the home phone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Allen's residence.
Yep.
And then my dad got a cell phone and he left his voicemail. It was like, this is Larry's office. I'm not in right now. I'm like, Dad, no, it's a cell phone.
Yeah, totally.
But no, I think that, but we would call our friend and we'd have to talk to their parent when they answered. Like we're just used to doing that. If we wanted to go play, we had to go make friends with the neighborhood friends. We were on vacation. I'd make friends on vacation. Like that's just what we did. But now in an over digitized world where we can get the connection and the dopamine hit or whatever it is through a screen. Yeah. That's where a lot of the anxiety comes from. And there's just not even now I call my oldest son, he picks up and he goes, "What?"
It's like Carter.
I'm like, no, Carter's residence. Carter's residence.
Yeah.
You ever reached Carter's cell phone?
Carter's office phone.
But no, and so I think that's where we naturally have grown up with that being part of sports, being, we just didn't have something to take place of that, to be a substitute. So we naturally learn, we grew up with that, and it's going to have to be pursued by this next generation to really sharpen those skills.
Tie it together.
Yeah. Because it's still answer the phone. What? Or the worst is when you text somebody, you text them and they call you.
Oh.
Like, hey, we're texting here.
Why are you calling me?
I'll call you if I want to talk.
I thought we were good. Yeah. Well, I think that we're moving into, and this is why whatever I'm leveraging and using AI for, I'm really trying to stay hyper focused on what it's leading me to, because I feel like we're moving into this age where the separation is going to be in the execution of whatever that list you just made of all the high leverage activities that you can do. Great, you got your list. Execution is going to be one of the most paramount separators of the people that are really highly leveraging AI and allowing it to elevate them, or not. And when you understand that there's so much confusion, like this is why I get really intense about limiting the information, because one of the biggest enemies to execution, you guys ever heard the phrase, the enemy to execution is blank? Complexity. Complexity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Being the enemy to execution. I'll have to give all the props to Tony Robbins and the UPW I did earlier this year. Dude, that was, if you've ever done UPW, that was quite the event.
That's a Tony gig.
I did it virtual. Yeah, that was amazing.
I mean, Tony knows what's going on, man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I will say this, okay, and this is one of the things that I'll just shed some light on, because being a part of that event, one of the things people think that Tony might be, if they've never heard of him, or if they just hear Tony, they think he's good at motivating, which he is. But what they don't understand is this is a master class in human behavior. And his understanding of this inner psyche and how we work and how the human being functions, and his ability to shine light on that and create the awareness within you, that's the unleashing. That is his master class. That is his superpower, is allowing that individual to understand how they are wired internally. There was this concept of the emotional home. This one hit the most home for me and my wife, in that we were able to identify the place we go in our emotional home. For me, it's anger. And you guys know my personal story with anger. In fact, I think I shared it on this podcast. And that's my emotional home. And so when you think about having the ability to be made aware, AI can do so much for allowing us to. I've had so many people text me when we talk about AI. They're like, oh my gosh, it told me this thing. It's like it knows me. Mm-hmm. It pointed this out, and it's like, oh, it sounds like you're going through this, or it sounds like you need to deal with that. So we can become aware of so many things, and this AI can really help us know us. Oh, I'm not switching to Claude because ChatGPT knows me better. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, there's a pretty easy solution for that in case you wanted to know what it is.
We'll talk off air.
Have ChatGPT tell Claude. Okay, all that it knows. It's not that hard.
I feel like you wouldn't give that info up. It's like, you're not going to pay me $20 anymore.
It's a robot.
We definitely don't want them listening to this.
They are. Too late.
Sorry. So anyway, that execution, I think, is like, I don't know. I don't know. You know how they say, like, oh, information age. I'm not like saying we're moving into the execution age, people, but I think
it's time. Man, I'm taking a lot from this episode. I'm really excited.
I like it. Yeah, it's good stuff. And it's what's crazy is it's once you think you have it figured out, it changes, right?
It'll change.
It is changing so fast.
See you guys tomorrow, because it's all going to be different.
It is changing so fast. Yes. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay. Aaron, where can people find you?
Well, through you, Josh.
We weren't asking these questions when he came, but the three questions, and I know he's an out of towner. But he's experienced a little bit.
You just want like a quick what's your napkin take on
it? We ask our people what they would change about Shreveport if they had a magic wand.
Better campground?
Oh.
But you're
the bumpy road.
Yeah.
It's a bumpy road out there.
Every out of towner we've asked that to, that's what they say.
It's a bumpy ride.
But is this true? Okay. I wish Rick Rowe was here because he could tell us.
Who?
When the federal drinking age changed to 21, Louisiana did not comply. This is what I've heard.
Okay.
And that through that non-compliance, the federal government withheld funds from Louisiana that could have been placed into infrastructure projects. Have you heard this?
I have not heard this.
And so this was, many, many, many years ago. Yeah. But I've heard that, and I've heard so many people talk about how bad the roads are. And so, look, it could be a lot of things. It could be that the politicians are just pocketing the money. Yeah. We're no stranger to fraud in Louisiana. But it just makes me wonder, does anybody know? If you, dear listener, if you know,
good question.
Well, could it help me illustrate the point as a father with my children that booze makes it a bumpy ride in life?
I like it.
Can I do that?
Yeah. I like it. See, he did that.
That's a nugget for the kids.
AI.
Yeah, he did that.
That sounded like an AI point, but you did that on your own.
Yeah. That's for the kids.
Listen,
the other question is what a great meal that you've had recently? We like to say local, but I don't know if you had any meals here recently.
Well, I just had breakfast this morning. Okay. Now, I did choose another broken egg.
Okay. Yeah, that's a Louisiana restaurant.
No, it's not.
It's from South Louisiana.
No, it's not. There was one in Florida, way back when.
I thought it started in Louisiana. It started in Florida?
I don't think so.
Well, I know I have one here. I have one in where I live.
Yes.
But they're shrimp and grits.
It either started in Florida or Louisiana. But I think the second one was in Louisiana.
Well, that would make sense because they actually
Covington
offer
or something.
Yeah. Southern food up at another broken egg.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Mandeville. Look at that. And then a second location was opened in Destin because that's where I remember going in Destin.
That's what I'm saying.
Look at that. Look at you go.
A Louisiana chain.
Louisiana.
Another broken egg.
There you go.
We apologize.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I think Josh should apologize.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Shrimp and grits.
Thanks to AI for answering that for us so quick.
And he asked me if I wanted the city grits. I'm like,
oh yeah, the extra like butter and cheese and all that stuff.
Okay. And then what are you excited about? Personally or professionally, what's the most excited you're about right now?
You know, the people that I've seen on this trip and the people that I'm going to be seeing here are just a representative of what I get so excited about as people. And the truth is, you know, when you're in a position I'm in, I've been married going on 18 years. We got 3 kids and they're with us here. We got the camper going, right? I feel like, oh my gosh, dad mode, right? Like we're taking them all across the country in this camper. And yesterday I got a chance to take a little tour up to Tyler and introduced him to 3 business owners, and we homeschool our kids. And so it was kind of like a little homeschool field trip where I had my clients, I explained, what do you do? Hey, just tell me a little bit, my kids, you know, for their sake, a little bit about what you do in their industry so we can get a little life on the job kind of thing. Cool. Education. So dude, excited about people. Seriously, the people here. And I asked my wife and kids to come with me because I just love, well, I'm a little corny here, but I just love you, man. I love you. I love you guys. And you guys, the people I've been able to get introduced with here, you guys have a lot of that ancient Judeo-Christian stuff we talk about, Josh. You guys have a lot of the strong character. And
well, when I see your kids, I'll remind them that I help pay for whatever. If they're on a phone, I help pay for that.
I contributed to that. So yeah, totally.
Yeah. There you go. Cool. Awesome.
Great. Thank you so much, man.
Good stuff, Aaron.
Thank you. Great 2 talks.
Yes. Thanks.
Beautiful.